Spiral, 2 Jews, 2 mics, 2 hours, starting now.
Good morning.
Hi.
Wow. I'm not going to comment, okay?
Good.
I won't comment this time.
Stop commenting on not commenting and you'll have something.
No, what I'm saying is you probably don't understand what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm going to stop commenting when things go right. Do you understand now?
No comment.
That was the last time I'm going to do it. No wonder we don't do classic Bob and Ray bits, right?
It is apparent to me why we don't.
I can't see me and you getting off on a roll on stage that's been scripted. Well, we already did that. You were in the dumpster. That was pretty
we
good.
got on a roll, but it wasn't scripted. It's the scripted part that would fuck us over.
What do you mean, Josh, that you didn't prepare the song that we told the nice people we were going to do? I didn't tell you I was going to do a song. Well, you certainly did.
I'm going to beat the living shit out of you. Where is that?
Oh, come on, folks. The lovable lug is pretending to want to strangle me again. The lovable lugs.
I can live with that. I can live with lovable lug.
It goes with the Lois Lane theme.
It does?
Why am I
Alliteration with L? Is that the theme?
Yes, and here's the LL. But here's the thing. Does this amount of sobriety really help me? You know what I'm saying? Free association.
Because even though it's bullshit, you know what you're talking about.
Many people say I should quit smoking from Tuesday to Friday. And I say to those people, I could, but I choose the double experiment to continue. That was bad. That might have been better if I was high. Hey, man, people telling me don't smoke so much pot.
What does Susan say about the difference?
Oh, well, she's just happy that she never said I had to stop. She just said you can't stop for one day. So I think she's very happy that I do it.
Didn't she say, can you please at least on the weekends or something?
No. She said, I bet you can't even stop smoking for one goddamn day.
It was a spite-based accommodation.
Spite-based accommodation of a woman who don't forget, she spent 30 years of me saying, excuse me, what did you just say? What?
No,
what did you just say?
I understand why she might have hit a certain threshold.
But I think she's very happy. She's still sometimes concerned about pot smoking, but I don't know. I don't know. It is, I will admit now, Josh, and maybe if you want to write this down, I think it's a habit.
Yeah.
I have a habit.
Yeah, I think that might be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not immune from such a habit myself. Don't let me.
But the thing is, your life is not run by the pot you smoke. It's run by the vaping of tobacco. Was that bad?
It wasn't funny. I mean, if
that's
what we're doing good and bad about it.
Was it mean? Was it too mean?
No, I'm totally addicted to nicotine. It's not something I'm dodging.
Well, see, I don't say that about pot. I don't need it.
No, you said habit.
Tuesday.
You said habit.
Ooh, a Tuesday. Ooh, a 12:01 on Tuesday. That's where it is in French. Ooh, a.
Oh, thank you.
Yesterday was a tough day for me, Josh. I say without you asking. It wasn't really a tough day, but
it was a tough day for New York sports teams.
Yes.
Whether or not you want to attach yourself to that misery.
Okay, I will. And I would like to talk to you about this until you cut me off.
All right.
I mean, cut off the discussion.
Do you want to start with the Vikings beating the shit out of the Jets, or do you want to?
I don't even know. That game was so close. Here's what happened. I set the alarm. First of all, everything's about the Mets. Every day I wake up, I tell Susan, what time is the Mets on? She's into it now, too. I said, and I can't even believe they're not on today, even though they have a day off.
Yeah.
But, so 6:30 a.m. on NFL Network is when the game started. I set my alarm clock for 6:26.
Okay.
I get in there. I'm not well rested. That's what I'm telling you right from the beginning. I was not well rested.
Yeah.
It started to become what seemed like a slaughter to me.
Yeah.
And then I went to sleep, came back for the last quarter, and it seemed to get better. Did it get close at all?
Yeah, the Vikings not such a great second half team right now.
Now, what's your take on Aaron Rodgers?
But 5-0.
That's so. I'm happy for you. You know that I'm happy for you, right?
I don't really care that much, but thank you.
Fuck you. Aaron Rodgers, what is your take on his general disposition on the field?
I think he's a dick who's frustrated with seeing the end of his career in front of his eyes like this.
Yeah.
So every bad move is heightened, and and you know the
occasional
the blaming of others, and the it's not pretty. It's not an attractive look for him.
Yes.
You know, and the Vikings have a long history of getting the last 2 seasons of great quarterbacks' careers.
Give me some examples of that. Joe Cap.
Well, sure, Joe Cap, of course. Well, Warren Moon. They had Warren Moon, and they got one great year out of Warren Moon, and then a bad one. They got a couple of great years out of Randall Cunningham, then a bad one. They got a great year out of Jim McMahon, and a bad one. They got a couple of great years out of Brett Favre and a bad one. You know, so it was like,
wait, I would think Brett Favre. Oh, that's post Green Bay Packers
and post Jets. Yeah,
right, and post Jets. He was not bad on the Jets, right?
He didn't seem happy there. I don't know.
And he was scamming cities and towns for their poor people's money all during this.
I don't know if it was a scam spree really so much as that one post career incident.
So. You are intimately familiar with this.
I've seen it before. I'm just saying, and unfortunately, he was injured for the good year he could have had, and now he's going to have the bad.
Right, and this is the thing: the Jets never let go of a prospect like Sam Darnold. We held on to him.
You guys could really use a Sam Darnold type QB right now, couldn't you?
He was their number one. He was their. He was their number one draft choice.
I know.
This goes back to did you know that I attended the Jets Super Bowl in '69? I don't know if I mentioned it to you. '68, sorry, the championship game in December of '68. I don't think I've mentioned it. But when the great Joe Namath came into the league, there were 2 other quarterbacks. We had other quarterbacks. We had Mike Tolliver. And now I forgot because I was blanking. I forgot the name of the other one. So it was like 3 stars. And then Joe Namath shined. God, what a terrible story. I wouldn't even tell that story to me to try and make me go to sleep.
No, there was no reason for it whatsoever.
Well, Mike Tolliver and John...
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Yesterday, I went on a big run of names from the past. And Susan seemed to be happy about them. Oh, yeah. I said, what's your knowledge of Cookie Gilchrist? I said to her. Uh-huh. I have no knowledge of Cookie Gilchrist. Uh-huh. How about Cookie Rojas? No, she had heard Cookie Rojas. I said, do you think Cookie Rojas is related to the Rojas who's playing now? Turns out Rojas is kind of a familiar name. Uh-huh. It's kind of a common name.
Sure. Yeah, Jamel Rojas.
Right. So here's what I wanted to get to the meat of my problem. So the Jets lost. Let's see. Did you send me? You didn't send me any horrible things. Oh,
no, yeah. I as a Vikings fan, we don't taunt during the game because we know what can happen.
You don't trash, and that's not true with the Phillies.
And that's what happened to you with the Phillies.
The Phillies.
I saw you post like, oh, they're booing their fan. Boom, 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 3 runs. Boom. Right after you posted it.
Someone said things, and not that subtle. Go fuck yourself, fuckhead. Hey, why don't you suck my fuck, shithead. So here's what happened, and here's how I actually thought about it for the rest of it. I'm not saying I was obsessed with it, but I thought about it because first of all, it opened up the old Twitter thing that I had forgotten about. That whatever you say on Twitter, that you're going to get ripped apart.
Right. Especially if you're trashing Philly fans.
Right. And I want to say this.
Which, to your point, they trash their own players. Why would you be so?
Oh, no. To my goodness, I didn't engage that much with
this. I wouldn't think.
But here's what happened.
How do you engage with go fuck yourself?
Oh, I think someone said a lot of people say you're a pussy after my tweets. You're a fucking pussy.
Yeah.
So, I have this thing when I sleep that I can wear to protect. It's for thin skin. Oh, yeah. So that if I bleed, I don't bleed all over the place. Do you think they have something like that for my...
It's like a Band-Aid onesie? What is it?
It's like it slides over one arm and it slides over the other arm. Because Susan said, I don't mind.
This is like a real sign that I need to start making some younger friends again. Because you're like you're the second friend of mine who suffers from thin skin like this.
Yeah, but not thin skin that I suffered from earlier. I would like some treatment for my disposition of thin skin, but there's nothing. You see that, or you don't see it?
I do see it. Stop putting sores in the camera.
This is why this would be taking off if we were on YouTube right now. This is why people would come back. So here's my point, and you can clamp it down whenever you want. Okay. My point is this: I in my life have never seen booing this disgusting in my life. They booed. I had never heard sarcastic booing in my life. A sarcastic round of applause when Nick Castellanos made hit the outfield or made a ground ball. Now, why they hated this guy? Why the fans were hating? And you see these one guy from the stands going, Yeah. Look, we may all have anger towards our teams, but this is unforgivable. It's unforgivable. I hope the players, I have nothing against the players. I hope they lose. If not to the Mets, I hope they lose. That's it. And I'm telling you, I went to that city every single time I bombed. Every single time. It's a city. I'm not saying there's no nice people in Philadelphia.
I've done very well there.
Okay. And some of them, what did Trump say? And some of them, I assume, are okay. Yeah, right. But they have worse than San Francisco, I think. Maybe not worse than San Francisco. They have the second city problem, the jealousy.
With all the you can bitch about all the booing that the Phillies fans did, but LA was throwing shit at the outfielders.
I saw that.
So, which is worse? I think our behavior in this case
that
rose
was
to
bad.
a worse level than booing.
And didn't someone get killed outside Dodger Stadium a few years ago?
Someone got beaten near death. Nearly to death.
And so, I turned that on as that was happening. And by the way, I discovered a couple things. I want you to keep this under your hat. But that I think that Ohtani is from a giant. He's from a giant. It's not even from this planet. He's from a giant race.
Uh-huh.
The race of giants. I know you're going to say race. I'm making a racist point. I am making a racist point.
And by giants, you mean what, 6'2" in your case?
No, he's... I noticed, and other people pointed out online, that you can clearly see a control panel if you look carefully at the back. Yeah. He is not a human.
Like we need more conspiracy theories even in jest right now.
First of all, every time he's up to plate, I yell at Susan, please, I have to see him. I can't even believe it. Every time he's up to plate, I feel like he's going to reach over and take the picture and go, hi, you're such a cutie. Boom. So I'm fascinated. Here's the thing I'm fascinated by. Maybe you can help me with this.
Probably.
He's as good a pitcher as he is a hitter, right? I mean, he's one of the greatest pitchers. If he
he's a really good pitcher. I mean, he's had 2 Tommy John surgeries now, so it remains to be seen what kind of stuff he will have next year. But he's a very good pitcher, and the combination of him being a very good pitcher and a very good hitter
is amazing.
Is a pretty amazing thing. And
do you think he'll be able?
And then becoming the game's first 50-50 guy this year when he wasn't pitching shows you he's just like a total baseball savant kind of.
He is. I mean, I tried to play baseball. I kept my eye on the ball. I had an aluminum bat. I can't. How does he end up? Here's my question to you, and you probably are not going to answer this. Most baseball players probably traditionally obviously come from here because it's the most popular sport here.
Well, that's not true, really.
Well,
first of all,
it's not
the most popular sport here.
I don't know, but for perennially, since
and I don't know. I would bet that I don't know, but I bet that the majority of the MLB is foreign born.
Oh! I'm not talking. I'm not claiming they have the Dominican Republic. They have all kinds of.
Are you counting that as here?
No. I'm saying no. I'm saying they have. I wish it was here. I wish it was
right, I'm sorry.
Okay,
go ahead.
Okay, you derailed me for no reason at all. What was I talking about? Okay, so
most of the players come from here, you say, because it's the most popular sport, and I disputed all of that.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If you were to go and say, you know what, we're going to Cambodia. to see if we can find the best players. They probably wouldn't go to Cambodia, but they go to Japan because Japan has a tremendous tradition of baseball.
Yes.
They love baseball.
They do.
And there's
Perhaps
only one.
more than us. I would say more than us as a country.
And there's only one giant man over there. Why are there not 10 to 20 Otanis? He's the greatest human that's ever put on a thing.
Wow.
Maybe.
I think that's a lot. You're putting a lot.
But not a switch hitter. Isn't that amazing? Francisco Lindor is a switch hitter. You would think Otani could go left, right, that he could use this, go up and down and hit a home run. He's a lefty. Isn't that odd?
Huh. But aside from all of your emotions, that was a fantastic baseball game between the Mets and Phillies yesterday.
Oh, my God. What a great game.
Even though sports news from a week and a half ago, when you hear this, people, I apologize. But still, it was...
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable.
The Phillies are about the only team I would root for the Mets against, too, because I'm not a Mets fan, as you know. Because how could you be if you weren't from New York?
Yeah, but no one I've found is an anti-Mets fan. They just joke about the Mets. That we hate the.
Well, but
they're silly.
I have no enthusiasm.
It's not like the Yankees.
No, I mean the Yankees. You can get a really strong feeling about, especially as a Twins fan, where they have eaten our fucking breakfast for years.
Right.
And you can just hate the Yankees for so many reasons and for so many decades.
Yes, George Steinbrenner and
But
everything.
the Mets you can't be enthusiastic about if you're not from Queens. You can't.
That's true.
You just,
The Amazings. You would if you were born in 1962 in my house.
I kind of like those dirtbag Phillies of the early 90s with like John Kruk and Lenny Dykstra and Darren Dalton.
Hold on a second. What did you just say? Lenny Dykstra was a Met.
And then he became a Philly.
Okay. Did he? My mother loved Lenny Dykstra.
Lenny Dykstra is a Met.
My mother loved Lenny Dykstra because they called him Nails, right?
Sure.
But then I remember towards the end of did he start having like John Rocker?
Your mom
type
thought
problems?
it was a manicure sort of thing, but
yeah, she thought he has well done nails.
Look at the cuticles on him.
But did he become like a John? Nobody became like John Rocker because he was just a racist, ignorant schmuck. Yeah. But didn't Nails have some problems in the later career?
Dykstra became a disgraced businessman. Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it was maybe alcoholism, or we don't know.
One would think. I was at what was it? I think it was a Ruth's Chris in Beverly Hills once with Trace Beaulieu, and it was like Dykstra, Darren Dalton, and John Kruk all came in together. It's like a Phillies reunion, and they just started getting hammered.
Did you go up to them and say anything, or no?
No.
But were they rude, or they were fine?
No,
right?
They were fine. They were carrying themselves like ex-ball players who could own a steakhouse for a night.
You know my story about going to a restaurant and the wall many thousands of years ago, and on the wall was a frame thing that said the number 61 for some reason. And it happened to be that Billy Crystal was there with Mickey Mantle's son, or both of his sons, or something like
Roger
that. And we saw them
son.
admiring it. Now, you know Susan is not a pusher. She doesn't go in there and go, I can help you. But as we were leaving or something, Susan said, if you want, I can take a picture of that sign for you. And Billy Crystal said, no, thank you. No, thank you. And that got me to think that Billy Crystal, the stories about him have to be true, that he's an asshole.
Yeah.
A flaming asshole. Now, if it was just that one time,
you'd still hate him. You'd still hate him.
We're sitting. Well, I hate him because of what's his black voice again? I'm the black man. I'm the jazzy.
Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it.
He would do a black voice and like as if he was Richard Pryor doing a character, but he's not Richard Pryor. He's a fucking white dude. Thank you.
He did Sammy Davis Jr. in blackface as well.
How come they don't talk about that anymore? When they say these people did this, it's too old.
I've seen I've seen it come up, but he doesn't get real hit with it. No.
I just don't get this. Did Jimmy Kimmel? Did who else was around in the old days? Did Steve Allen do black? Did everyone just do blackface?
Jimmy Kimmel or Steve Allen? These are the.
I couldn't think of names. Well, Jimmy Kimmel. I would think that Jimmy Kimmel, who I like now, but I would think Jimmy Kimmel when he was back with Adam Carolla, did a bunch of shitty stuff.
Sure.
Like mean, racist stuff.
Sure. I can't say one way or the other, but no problem believing that.
But how about other people? Never occurred to you to go blackface.
Never went blackface.
Never occurred to me once in my life.
But there's plenty of jokes I have regrets about, for sure. But that both in my professional and just offstage life, there's plenty of shit. I mean, there was never. I don't believe there was any of it was ever driven by racism, but certainly deeply inappropriate jokes.
But didn't you think it was kind of funny that Harry?
Because I found inappropriateness itself to be funny.
Do you still?
I do sometimes, yeah.
Right. Well, it can be hilarious.
Yeah. And I would push the inappropriateness.
Did I tell you the funniest inappropriate bit that I've ever done in my life was me and David Feldman talking about Lou Costello's kid who had drowned in a pool. And we just went on.
You can go on and on with shit like that. And if you're two comics, you know you're not.
I mean, we just went on and on.
You know you're not you're not terrible people, really. But
it was a who's on first. That's what it was.
Who's in the pool?
Your son is dead at the bottom of the pool. Who? Your child has been found, and we went on like that.
Sure.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
And I've been guilty of similar extended bits where it's just like if if an observer was to happen upon them,
that you would be arrested. Probably. Well, how about So and of course. Part of that is, you go, we're doing this, we're laughing. We would never want anybody else to hear this or see this or Luke, because I think Lou Costello's granddaughter or something was a casting director. So there's no way that you would want anyone related to the Lou Costello family to hear that who's on first with the son at the bottom of the pool.
Right.
But it's still hilarious.
Sure, at least in the moment.
In the moment,
there's
hilarious.
No reason to stop.
Yes. So, what were we talking about? I don't know. Never were talking about.
This is why, a lot of writing rooms don't have the writer's assistant in there anymore.
Because they really, yes. And the fact that you're saying, that you even felt kind of bad about it, how about these people didn't feel bad about it? It's like, to me, I think we talked about this, to me, Who Jackie is a racist story of, it's a white person story about a black person who said, who Jackie?
Yes.
And I hate that bit. And I now hate that joke.
Sure.
But it's not existing anymore. Right? How did we get into that one?
Like people are walking around talking about
who Jackie.
Yeah.
But you can imagine for a long time, white people have been in the, kind of Rickles position as employers or something like that. Walking around, he loves when I talk about when I ask him if he wants me to rub his head. There was a certain horrible white man confidence to all this kind of comedy. Yes. I'm not making a real theory thing.
No, but you get into the club in order to other people.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So I have another question for you that's very important. No, this is a question that I'm actually oddly don't understand. Okay?
Right.
And I was hoping you could help me figure this out.
You don't understand the question?
I understand what exactly. It's not that I don't understand what exactly I'm upset. I'm not upset. I'm
just disappointed. I'm sorry.
No. So here's what happened. Susan says, hey, Nate, we watch Saturday Night Live every week, mostly disappointedly recently. Uh-huh. But for over the years, and that's the only way you can find out about people like Bowen Yang or these people that you become, or who was the woman who left? Kate McKinnon. That's the only way you can find out about. They weren't necessarily great years of the show, but they did hilarious things,
Right.
you know? So I still am kind of like wired since 1975 to get excited at 11:30 on Saturday night, you know? So she said, I said, who's hosting? Nate Bargatze. Now, Nate Bargatze is a very funny comedian.
Agreed.
He hosted the show. He was hosting the show last year.
Yes.
Okay. My question is, it sounds like a jealousy, but it's not really. It's like, why was he host? Isn't it usually someone first of all, my question is, did someone cancel and that's why he was hosting?
No, I think he was a popular host. I mean, they wouldn't have had him back if in the second week of the season if they hadn't planned it, you know.
Right. Okay, well that's cool. So it's not Lorne Michaels, it's the people at the show going,
I have no idea. I have no idea.
But
obviously it went well the first time for them, at least with viewership.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, but you could find out from Steve Higgins. No, you couldn't. All right. So here's the thing: is John Higgins Steve Higgins' brother? Yeah, right. And he writes for the show.
It's his son.
His son
is in the little trio of guys who do those films. I don't think.
Are you kidding me? They're the digital shorts.
They're the three nerdy writers who are like in the.
They're hilarious.
Yeah, well, one of them is Steve Higgins' son. Yeah,
they're not all Steve Higgins related people.
No, but they are all writers.
They're so great. So my question is this: the show, it was unwatchable from beginning to end. First of all, it's 4 weeks before the most important election of our lifetime, and they're doing the stupidest they're doing, and I like Jim Gaffigan. But why do I want to see Jim Gaffigan doing Walls, who I barely know? The only one who was funny was Carvey doing Biden, because he had all those things that Biden said. No, I'm serious. It's true. And they do this elaborate 8-minute skit that is absolutely devoid of a point, humor. And I know that when I say devoid of humor, I years ago understood when I was criticized, what would you do, asshole, if you had to put it together, right? So I'm not completely sitting there going, wait, how did they come up with these? But as the show went along, it might have been the worst show I've ever seen. First of all, Coldplay might be the worst. Coldplay, I know our fans like them. Our fans. Coldplay might be the worst band I've ever heard. And now he is doing he's singing, he's rapping, he's got, it was the worst piece of garbage, and he was so self-satisfied. That guy thinks he's handsome. He goes, yes, Gwyneth Paltrow thought I was hot, and has nothing to. And the other guys look like little beaten down men. I think there's only 3 others, right? And the drummer's like, and then the bass player is trying to play along, and the guitarist is trying to play along, but there's nothing to play along to. Did you see it? He was like, we got terrible. It's not only is it. First of all, I don't like the name Coldplay. I don't like anything about the fucking band. I've always hated them, and I know you hate them too. And I got very upset last year when one of their songs I liked. I was like, okay, now I've gone to the dark side.
Yeah. Well,
my question is,
I will try to fix you.
What's that?
It's a Coldplay reference.
Oh. Here's the thing. I've been making this argument forever, and I'm still going to make it now. There needs to be some kind of unifying force behind that fucking show. There needs to be someone to produce that show. And it can't be Lorne. It's not going to be Steve, because he doesn't get involved in that. It's got to be somebody who fucking knows comedy. I know they've probably been saying this forever. Who knows comedy, who can at least recognize you've got hilarious people. Let's try to make it a show. And I think the show suffers from their fucking 95-year-old asshole producer who does nothing except eat popcorn. And is suffering because of that. And I pitched you as the new showrunner. And I wanted to be just like you ever see that Studio 60 when we had that show?
Oh, that was great. That was the best case scenario, really, for those.
But they were walking and talking, and they seemed to have executive producers who were in suits, and
and we're invested in doing important comedy.
Isn't that Aaron
And
Sorkin's
also
thing?
Gilbert and Sullivan.
Would you call Aaron Sorkin's writing earnest?
No.
What would you say?
I would
Insane.
I would call it. I mean, I think it's going for earnest,
Right.
but the more earnest it goes for, the more pompous it really tends to be.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's all I have to say about that. It's like I watch it every week. I'm going to continue to watch it every week.
But that's, this is coming from a guy who was a huge West Wing fan for his shows because the pompousness and earnestness belonged in the White House.
Right.
Now,
but
when he tries to apply it to show business, it completely falls apart.
You would agree with me that not liking it when I saw it, I probably couldn't get into the West Wing.
Probably not. I mean, look
Right.
look how you fucking tore apart Coldplay. I don't see how.
I'm sorry. You know what? They're trying to do the best they can. They're musicians and they're experimenting. Chris, what's his face?
I thought Bargatze's monologue was very like throwback Carlin almost.
Yeah.
With his the word, basically word dissection.
Yes. And I think what he did, I respect what he did because he just did a set that he wanted to do. You know what I mean? He did a set that, like, about what you're talking about, which I don't know how I'm trying to say it. It was like if you were seeing him in a club, you would probably enjoy those bits more because you'd be used to his rhythm.
But you don't see him in a club. You see him like in a fucking arena now.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I know that you're going, well, how did Nate Bargatze host Saturday Night Live twice? But it is so possible for people to become fucking huge now off of our radar. That it's not that surprising.
So you have reduced my thing down where it just sounds like I'm an envious asshole, right?
No,
but I like Nate Bargatze.
No, but I think it's also the magnitude of his stardom to host Saturday Night Live twice. It doesn't seem congruous with what you think of him about. Because you think of him as a low key club
yes,
comic.
That's what I think of him. Yeah. So I was even surprised to see him in sketches the first time.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, he became very quickly a very big stand-up name who could sell a lot of tickets.
Right. He used to hang around. He was friends with Mary. He's just a sweet guy. Everybody loves him.
I met him, I think, in Chicago. I was doing a date with Segura, and he was in town and came by. And I met him backstage and hung for an hour or so. And a very nice guy. Really
He's a sweet man, and he also is very self-deprecating, which I like about him.
Yeah.
Like his first time that he was on Saturday Night Live, he was like, why am I here? That kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just was one of these, it's not gobsmacked, but is gobsmacked a bad thing? I was gobsmacked.
Gobsmacked I don't think there's I think it's just taken aback.
Taken aback.
Yeah.
Right. So, then I just started thinking about how hard it would be to be on that show because I like a lot of the people on that show. I like Ego Wodum. I like a lot of people on the show, but they never use anybody. And the people they tend to use, I want to like these people more.
Well, but there's a cast of 30. I mean, I don't.
Right.
It's like you can't. It's just. That's what always strikes me now. Is just like
too many.
Why is that useful? Why is that good to have that many players?
The intro takes 4 minutes and featuring.
Maybe that's its value. Is that it eats up 4 minutes.
And featuring this one, that one. I didn't know one of the people who was featured, so I was very excited. I still feel like I have my toe in So that's it for me. I mean, I thought, was there anything else I was going to take? I've been writing things down.
That SNL run was like, it really felt like classic Kindler. Just that kind of like getting all worked up about nothing, that whole thing.
Well, that's why I think we should send a special email notice to Jake Hogan. Yeah. That's his favorite part.
Okay.
When I get upset. He didn't say, see how he goes? He said, it's your favorite part. You're wonderful. No, he said he just enjoys that I go after people for no particular reason.
No, I enjoyed it myself. I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can just sit back and be an audience member.
Wow. Would you come to my shows?
No.
If I get my...
Nope.
You don't do any stand-up at all now. I know that, right?
Yeah, it's not a declaration, but it's the situation. I've turned down a couple of opportunities to do it in the past couple of months.
Well, I need to
not
get
that they were
back out.
good situations. If they were good situations, I might have gone a different way, but
yeah. Well, I kind of want to get back into it, but I want it to be fun. And like I've been playing, I played this room a couple times called the Bourbon Room, and it's like old style, like the bad club days. I mean, people are drunk and they're touristy. And so I need to do something to overcome my inertia, which I'll do. I mean, I'm not whining about it. I know I'm going to do more material because it really bothers me. It doesn't bother me. I just want to do more material. And I'm tired of every time I'm booked, I go on stage with like 25 note cards. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's kind of why I mean, there's a lot of reasons, I guess, but it's, the basic one is there's just no way for me to do it well or seriously anymore.
Right.
I have so much dread about doing what I would need to do to get serious about it.
Yes.
You know, and I just don't want to be a mediocre comic for the sake of it, you know. So I don't really need, and I don't feel the urge. I mean, I don't.
Right.
I really am not audience hungry at all right now. You know, I like my weeks back at Acme, but even that, it's like I end up writing 20 minutes for a week.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I get it. And I think like the thing is I'm trying to there's no question about how the pandemic changed everything in a way. So it actually changed everything. I don't go to any of the clubs I used to go to, but I would like to at one point, but who knows? This is a ridiculous conversation. Either do it or don't do it, is what I tell people.
There is something about to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear about me. I'm so starved for attention or something.
Yeah.
Also, as you get older, this is really true. You don't, the idea of leaving your house. This is just even I'm listening to a book about the Grateful Dead. Even they, after Garcia died, they didn't want, like Phil Lesh, he had 2 kids. They didn't want to leave his house.
Right.
You know, I can't compare myself to Phil Lesh.
You can. I mean, you're old like him.
He is, I think, older than me. He was 10 years older than the rest of the dead.
Yeah. But you turn what, 68 next week?
I turned 68 on October 16th. And Susan turned 69 on October 14th.
I don't think she needed you saying that, but.
No, but.
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
What?
Did that help?
No, he's just staring at me. Allison left for work, and now he's like, now you're in charge.
Who is it?
It's Cody.
Does Cody make the most stir around the house, and Lucky is more like the veteran?
Yes, for the most part.
So Cody actually, I'm trying to find out more about dogs now.
Uh-huh.
Cody gets lonely. Cody now likes to be around. They like to be around you.
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah. He's in my shit all day now.
So what, he just follows you or follows you around, right?
No, he comes into my office and stares at me, and then he'll go, ah. What he really wants is for me to go play tug of war with him with a toy.
Is that his favorite game?
That's his big game, yeah.
I've seen that with other dogs.
He's dedicated to it, and he could be one of the greats. He really is. He's really fast.
So you're trying to, but I think you weigh more than him. How is he going to win a tug of war?
He cannot win a tug of war. He does not seem deterred by that fact. Nor when I let go, is he happy about it.
What do you mean?
It's not like he's trying to win.
So the game's over.
He wants the game to keep going. He will get upset if you let go.
How long could you do it in a row, theoretically?
He can go,
how long?
I mean, I seemingly, he does have a little ADD issue. So, when I get it away from him, I'll throw it and it becomes a fetch game sometimes.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes he'll run and then get distracted. It's like, and then it's over and I can leave. But no, he has an incredible stamina. He has grit.
So
he's got determination. He's got a love of the game.
Does he still wake up funny sometimes?
Yes. However, I've finally solved the problem with the addition of a squirt gun to my nightstand.
Oh my gosh! So what do you do?
I give him a very quick little squirt, and he snaps right out of it.
because he's sleeping.
It's like a cartoon slap. Thank you, I needed that. It's really...
I thought he would go right after you, the person trying to shoot him.
No, it ends it. It just like ends it with just immediately. It's just, he just needs that little thing to snap him out of it.
And
But you can't physically do it because he will try to bite you.
Right, that makes sense. Did he try to bite you once when you first did it?
Oh, more than once. I'm just good at avoiding it now. But
did you ever get bit by him?
Oh yeah, and Allison more than me.
Oh.
Yeah, so no, it's, I'm glad I cracked the code at least. We now have a way to end these little things.
Is it every night?
No, it's actually,
Okay.
and I think it's actually been less frequently since I cracked the code.
You know what would be funny is if one night you just start squirting Allison just as a prank.
It would be
She'd
great.
love that.
Wouldn't it be great?
And then you two would be like all over the house with the squirt guns.
No, Allison has enough of an imp in her that I've had to keep the squirt gun away from her because she will abuse it with the dog, I think.
Oh, what does she do?
She'll do it just for fun. And I'm like, no, we found a magic weapon. We can't abuse it.
She squirts the dog.
She doesn't. I haven't looked because I haven't.
But she was going that way. That has to be kept for one reason.
Exactly.
It'll get confusing.
Exactly. My point. But I like it because there's no cruelty, and it's immediate.
Now I have more dog questions. Do all dogs fetch, or just certain dogs?
Just certain dogs.
So, sir, you could have a dog that you would like a poodle or whatever the dog was. You throw it and they look at you like you're fucking nuts.
Clyde never didn't have a fetching bone in his body.
How'd you play with Clyde then?
He liked the tug of war too at one point, but mostly he just didn't. He didn't care. He was more like attached to Allison.
Cats. I always knew certain predictable. They always like to bang a thing back and forth. Oh, did they love that?
Yes.
Bang some kind of object. That's their thing. What's that object doing?
Oh, it's the banging. It's batting, actually. They like batting.
What did I say?
Banging. I'm just.
Oh, you know me with words. Batting around. Baseball is an otra cosa. La blagada and la blugada. This is my slightly racist impression of that MLB commercial with the guy from Saturday Night Live and the other one. Baseball, and do you know what it means?
No.
Baseball is something else.
Huh.
And he goes, and so there's words in Spanish where you go with a bang, but it's with a babata. And then you might go, hoo-hoo. No, they go, sasakaya. It's all different. God, I would be not only a terrible linguist, just in general, not good with language.
Yeah.
You said it, not me. So I'm fascinated by this. So, okay, so all dogs don't fetch. Oh, here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
We love these, Maria Bamford has pugs. They're the cutest things, right?
They're cute, yeah.
And I was reading and I was telling Susan, we're not going to have.
I prefer a snouted dog, but that's, it's a matter of taste.
This is where I'm going, okay? This is exactly where I'm going. Susan loves those dogs, and we know we're not going to have dogs, so it's not a matter of whether we're going to have them or not. But she thinks they're so cute, and we watch this Southern Charm, which is a one of those Bravo shows, and they have the cutest dog. But I told her that I had read an article which was asking veterinarians and people who work at places like that what dogs would they stay away from. And this one veterinarian said he would feel bad having a pug because they can't breathe.
Right.
Now, that came from breeding?
Yes.
So they said too much now?
And inbreeding, yeah.
Oh, is inbreeding where they... Is that how dogs are normally... Is that how you get a pure breed? You make the brother and the sister?
No, you try not to, but I'm just saying, especially when there's popular breeds of things, bad things start to happen with them because people start going...
Experimenting.
Well, going for cash,
Oh, okay. Right. So...
But some dogs are bred to, like bulldogs have to be born by C-section, It's like there are some...
That's crazy.
Yeah, there are some human...
Contraptions.
Basically they've been bred so much for the pleasure of humans that they no longer have practical bodies.
Okay, so that sounds a little cruel in a way.
I mean, I tend to think so, but I'm not, once they're dogs, I'm happy. So I'm not,
Yeah, you're not going to go. So, because I watched one episode where little Craig is his name, he got very sick, and it was because he couldn't breathe. He couldn't breathe even worse than he normally couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to watch out for that with them too.
Yeah, they've got the.
But they seem like I said, they seem like happy dogs. But other times you see them, they're trying to get breath in them all the time, 24/7. That's not necessarily being happy.
Not necessarily, no.
And why
Although
did the
dogs
snap,
are pretty adaptable, I have to say.
Why did the snap become unpopular? And what were they bred for? Just looks?
I would think in the case of the pug, mostly looks. I don't know how, their whole line,
Well, in this show, Southern Charm, there's a very rich Southern lady, and she has about 10 of those fluffy dogs that there's maybe this much dog underneath it all.
Like Pomeranian kind of little
yes.
dogs. Yeah.
And they sit in her lap, and sometimes they seem like they're cute, but then there's but mostly not. But maybe they're nice dogs. I'm just assuming something because they have their hair all crazy.
Well,
I'm assuming
dogs are individuals.
That's true. You told me that years ago.
I mean, there are definitely traits that breeds have.
Yeah.
One of the ways you look at like what are shitty dogs to have is look at the pound.
The people.
No, look at the pound. Look at like the dogs that have been, like you see so many huskies now in the pound because they're horrible dogs to have as house pets. They're they're high.
Are you saying huskies make bad house pets?
Yeah, I am saying that.
Oh wow! So tell me more about why are they handsome dogs?
They're handsome dogs. They're great looking. But,
right.
But, they're bred to be sled dogs, and
right.
And you put them in a Southern California home and they're bored as shit and they are loud as shit. They make incredible howling, high pitched, so people get rid of them because they're, they aren't suited for that kind of lifestyle.
Oh, sad. But then where did they go? They go to a special place like a farm.
But it used to be like pit bulls and chihuahuas were what you saw in the pound all the time because they were overbred and not paid attention to.
Is a chihuahua is a tiny dog, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Not tiny. I mean, Cody's 10 pounds, but.
What's a Weimaraner? A Weimaraner.
Weimaraner?
Yeah, I love this. I love it so much up to the point of having one.
They're big. They're big, stupid, difficult dogs.
I fell in love with a dog.
They're great looking again, but they're just big, stupid, get into trouble dogs.
This dog next door to me, when I grew up, I loved this dog. Are some greyhounds very big? Or generally they're big?
They're big-ish. They're lanky.
This dog was so big, I thought it was going to be mean. It was the sweetest dog in the world. And so that was one of the first times that little Andy Kindler went, so everything's bigger than you, but everything bigger than you won't kill you necessarily.
Right. Good lessons.
They also, my neighbors, the Katimskis, they also got us tickets to the fourth game of the 1969 World Series. Not good seats, but who would have been? I don't care. I was in the outfield. Fourth game of the World Series. I don't think I've mentioned it before.
No, it's...
And when did they win the World Series? On my birthday in 1969.
Huh?
Isn't that great?
Happy birthday, little Andy.
I'm so glad it sounds like you were raised nicely and you are a good person, but you would be horrible to me as my father. You would just be
As
horrible.
your father, no, I disagree. As your brother, I would be horrible to you.
Yeah.
As your father, I think I would have been much better to you.
That's true. What, are you much better than my own father?
Yes.
Oh, don't say that. Don't make fun of Larry. I want people to
I don't think I
that.
would have raised you as funny, necessarily. But
I don't want people to get the wrong idea. If you had met my dad, you would fucking love him. Everybody who met him.
Let me just say I would have had you in therapy before 60.
That's the thing that's so narcissistically unbelievable by my mother. My mother knew I should have therapy.
Yeah.
And she suggested it to me. But she didn't suggest it to me as if I was a member of her family she was talking about.
It was more like, you need therapy.
No, she goes, you could do that. She goes, Andy, you would be able, they deal with this very well in therapy, but they didn't respond to the fact that I thought I hit someone in the car or anything like that. They didn't.
Because they weren't qualified. I think they were saying you should go to someone qualified about this.
So I should have.
Jews trust specialists.
That's true. Well, not only that.
Unlike MAGAs, Jews trust specialists.
Well, my parents are almost overly Jewish in that way. Anytime I would go, even when I currently go to my marriage, family, child, I think at one point, because I think they were alive. Yeah, they asked me, what, is she a doctor? That type of thing. They really think everything in L.A., I mean, there's some truth to this, but anybody can do anything in L.A. without licensing. So Jews are almost too impressed by
credentials.
Credentials. Yes.
For sure.
Are you laughing at the collective Jews that you've known?
I'm laughing at the Juniverse.
The Juniverse. I can't wait till all the current problems are over in the Middle East and, Netanyahu's on a farm somewhere. And then people again go, I like the Jews again.
Yeah.
Well, that won't affect anti-Semitism because that's separate from events.
Yeah. No, see, that's the thing about Jews is Jews were never looking for, I like the Jews or I hate the Jews. Just don't talk about the Jews is what the Jews want.
I've told you this story many times, but it comes back to me a lot. A friend of mine who I am no longer friends with, I will not give his name, it's stupid, had a really bad falling out with him.
Right.
And
he was the one who said maybe Jews
I'll tell you exactly what he said.
They're disagreeable personalities.
I said, why are they even persecuting? He goes, because they display so many negative characteristics. He said that to me.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, that got to me.
Yeah.
And like anything else that gets to me, I go, that was nothing. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And because I was like, did I not hear him right? That type of thing.
Sure.
Did I not hear him? Because he's from England, very educated person, very, and so there's a part of me that goes, you must have misheard him, but that's too specific.
Yeah. No.
It's because they display so many negative characteristics.
Yeah. Had he been Jewish, you would never have thought of it twice.
Right, because that's how I feel.
Right. But I'm with you.
Yes. Yeah, because I used to do that joke. Why are Jews self-hating? You don't think Jews are anti-Semitic? Spend a day at the temple where I grew up.
Right.
So that's a tradition of Jews.
Why do Jewish men die before their wives? Because they want to. Boom.
So did you know about the Jewish lady who calls up to put the funeral announcement in? Did you know that one?
No. Tell me.
Okay. So she calls up. She wants to put the announcement in the paper because she calls the paper. Why did they call the paper? I'd like to put an announcement in the paper because my husband died. How much is it? $5 a word. Now, what is she? Oh, so expensive. So, because she's a Jew.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So she's, okay. Just put in Saul died. And I'm sorry, ma'am, there's a 5-word minimum. Okay, put this in. Saul died, Volvo for sale. Now, that is not only a great joke, but I never even associated Jews with Volvos, but they must be associated with Volvos.
No, I just think it's the funniest car make you could put in there.
Saul died, Volvo for sale. I mean, the point is, the Jewish woman doesn't even like their husband. That's kind of the point of the joke.
Yes.
They're annoyed that he's dead, and they're thinking very practically about money, because they're Jews.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. We like to make fun of ourselves endlessly. That's why I did like the day the clown died, or the day the clown cried, or the day the Nazi clown cried.
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't you love to? I know it would be bad to see it, but wouldn't you like to see it? Kind of. I've seen stills.
I've seen scenes.
You have not.
I have. They're look on YouTube.
Okay, so what happens in the scene?
It's mawkish crap. It's
It's mawkish. What does the word mawkish mean? Like
schmaltzy, manipulative, fourth sentimentality.
That's right. That's good. I mean, I wasn't testing you. I just was.
No, I know. I'm trying to give you the best,
best
definition I can without giving you the actual definition.
I love that word. So, so it's really, I think there's a movie made about the making of that movie that just recently came out.
There's some documentary someone did, yeah.
Because he did the guy had a long interview with Jerry Lewis about what went wrong.
Yeah.
And he said the thing that was amazing, I heard him on NPR, the thing that was amazing was that Jerry, very few times in his life, really wanted to talk about it, and he talked about it seriously, and so they have like 2 hours of that.
Yeah.
About what went wrong and that kind of thing.
Sure.
So I'd like to go see that.
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely could see how it happened with his megalomaniacal sort of, him thinking that he could pull it off.
And so important, right? We should not let this event go without it being treated comedically in a terrible way.
Well, and the mawkishness of the message of the power of laughter. Is that,
Well, that's yeah. So he's trying to get in on that. Fritz was the guy. The guy who wrote that thing in the prison camp. Mangala. That's not his name. He wrote a famous book about surviving the Holocaust, and he had a thing called logotherapy. I'm just not mentioning his name. Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but didn't the Italian guy, the Italian funny guy, didn't he do a funny thing about the concentration camps?
It's Life is Beautiful, Roberto Bernini.
And was it beautiful?
No, it was mawkish shit. It was absolutely, I hated it. Yeah.
Now, why he got like plaudits for it or something.
He did.
Tell me his name? Enrique Consamo. Roberto Bernini. Ray Romano did a very funny impression of him.
When people ask me what movie would you like to do for Mystery Science Theater, I always say
Tell me the name again. I already forgot.
Life is Beautiful.
You actually sat through it, though.
I saw it, I didn't see it in the theater, but I saw it on cable back in the day.
It was critically accepted too?
It was beloved, yeah. It was, but to me,
how was it different from Jerry's movie?
More
well done?
Well, it was less in the camps, first of all. A lot of it was hiding, I think.
Oh, so he was joking with people. Come here, little boy. Is it like Doctor?
He was trying to make it into fun for his son. He was trying to shield his son from the brutality of the world, by making their tiny world a fun game.
Oh God! Kind of thing. Yeah. And I can see mawkish might be my new favorite word now.
That's good.
Was he ever in anything that we liked? I know he was a character for years. He was always and he seemed funny to me. Is he dead?
Didn't he do like a Clouseau movie too? Didn't he do a Pink Panther movie after Steve Martin fucked it all up?
Do you think? I love Steve Martin, who's following me now on Twitter, so I love him. But do you think Steve Martin? He just never went through that discussion. Like, should I redo this or should I not? He just didn't. It just worked. It was work to him.
It's really bugging me how he's like leaning into cuteness now with Martin Short. It's really.
Oh, well, I think they're funny together, but they're going too far.
I think they're capable of being very funny together, but the range of things that they think is adorable with the two of them doing is much too wide.
Are you talking about the commercial where they...
The commercials at the bookstore I want to fucking kill myself from.
Yeah.
Only Murders in the Building I find to be too cute by half much of the time.
Yeah, I wanted to watch it. It seemed okay. I like Selena Gomez, but I don't follow it because there's no real murders going on. It's a fake, right? I mean, there are real murders.
There are real murders.
Oh, yeah. He's very cutesy. Well, Martin Short always makes me laugh, and I'm not saying you're saying he doesn't. But
no, I mean,
he might be the one guy who just walking out always. I mean, maybe it's not amazing every time, but just him walking out and doing that show business thing, he does that better than anybody else in the world. Where he kind of waves. I can't explain it because I can't do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's one of the, I mean, what's funny about him is his deep well of meanness that is so beautifully
hidden under Jiminy Cricket or something like that,
whatever.
right?
Just the likability that comes along with his genius for meanness is a great high wire act that he does.
He's a guy who can. He probably doesn't like the Jiminy.
It's Rickles-like in its deafness, which is, it doesn't matter how mean you forgive him, because he because he follows the cardinal rule, which is if it's funny, people forgive you.
That's true.
I still have yet to see someone get canceled for a truly funny joke.
Right. I haven't seen anybody get canceled. I guess there are people who are canceled.
I'm using it in the loosest terms, but I'm just saying, you don't hear, there are never super controversial funny jokes.
Yeah, especially, yes, because it's obvious. No, I think what you're saying is that that funniness by its definition, if you could label something funny, you're saying is funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you label it, it means nothing. But if it actually is,
it actually is funny. Right? No, but I mean, I should say not label, identify it as funny. We can all say it's funny without having to go into why it's funny, because we don't know exactly why it's funny. It's not funny because I exaggerated. It's not funny because I always give 3 examples. It's not funny because
Gonna take a little break. Gonna take a little break now. Gonna take a little break. Gonna take a little break now. Gonna take a little break.
Please stop talking for a moment.
Take a little break now. Gonna take a little break.
Please stop talking.
Gonna take a little break.
If it's in your power,
Break now. Gonna take a little break.
just stop talking
Gonna take a little break.
for a minute
Take a little break now. Gonna take a little break.
so I can stomach another hour.
Take a little break now. Gonna take a little break.
look at that, everything. Shut up. I have a new voice. This is what my therapist said I should do to the other voices.
Just shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
I think
At this point,
it's kind of what I do sometimes.
I've been there therapy twice a week, 45 years, and now at some point you just got to go, hey, judge, shut the fuck up.
Honest to God, I honestly think that is kind of the only thing you can do with some voices.
Well, that's true. That we know is true because we can't replace it with a positive thinking system. Well, if I say positive thinking,
Well, no, but
I think it's Tony Robbins.
I think thought stopping, as they call it in the biz, is
it's good. It's good.
Yeah, I mean
It's recommended.
it's not thought engaging; it's thought stopping.
Yes, that's exactly right. And also, it's not after this. I mean, for example, if I tried 6-7 years and normally didn't get a laugh,
Right.
at some point you go, look, okay, you know it's I know it's hilarious. You know it's hilarious, but it's not. It just didn't take off like I thought it would. Normally,
Sure.
With shirts, normally.
I think had your name been Norm, it would have helped you with the shirts at least.
That would have helped. I don't know about this, and I don't know if I can complain about this because it seems like a beloved show, but this Price is Right. I'd like to jump out of a window watching this show.
You don't.
First of all, and I'm not criticizing Drew Carey, he weighs 3 pounds. He weighs 3 pounds. I understand people, there's a different look for him now. He's a toothpick. He literally runs on soup. Not good. Yeah. But you would think the show would be, he would Wayne Brady it up a little bit or do something on the show. Hey! He does literally nothing. He kids around with the people as if he was a page trying to get, okay, the regular actors will be here soon. But here, you stand here and you stand here, and then we'll get like a Bob Barker type guy.
Yeah, but I think he settled into that sort of the institutional role. You know what I mean? Like, I think, he's been there, for like 15 years
15 to 20 to 25 years.
Yeah, so he is the guy now. And it is a daily morning show, so it is like going to work. You know?
Right, but Monty Hall, I would say, was 45 times more entertaining.
That was 50 years ago. These are different times.
Well, then, okay. Okay, now, if you want to do it, here's the thing. If you have a game show idea and it's a bad idea, if it's an idea that you like, you try and get an unknown host. If it's not, you get Rob Lowe. If you hate the show, it's like the floor, the ceiling. Just get Rob Lowe. And if it's not Rob Lowe, you wait a year and you wait till it's Rob Lowe is free again.
Right.
And I'm not kidding you. I could name 10 people who work and then everybody else pretty much doesn't work.
Right.
Right? And one of those people is Rob Lowe.
Yes.
And I'm not going to make him.
And when I say yes, I'm mimicking Rob Lowe.
What does he do?
Says yes.
Yes. Oh my God. I mean, maybe it is true, and I read this, that you really they did a study, and they can't have more than 7 to 10 actors that people's names can remember. You can't remember more than 7 or 8 people.
Right.
So you have to be one of those 7 or 8 people constantly. Right now, it's Haley Mills is popular. So
lip smack, double.
Oh, okay. Wait a second. That's okay. Here's the thing. What do you call it?
Lip smack.
It's terrible because it's very Bill Maher-like. It's like, I've come to the end of the thing. I don't feel satisfied with it. I didn't get much of a laugh with it. People don't seem to like me, but I'm going to go, mwah.
I wish it was that driven.
Who, Bill Maher?
No, your lip smack.
Well, let me tell you something. I don't like to watch the Yankees. When you tell me you like to watch the Yankees, when you said, please talk about the Yankees more because that's where our demographic is. But they also, I told you Ohtani is definitely a robot. It's not a joke. He's 11 feet tall.
I thought he was a giant the other day. He was a giant.
Right. He's a giant. That's right. I forgot my shtick. But, they have that thing where they have that box they put in there, and that box is like literally 8 feet tall for him because he's so huge.
It's called the strike zone, by the way.
Strike zone, okay. Wait, I like that. But you got these guys. The Yankees are also robot giants of some kind. Does Aaron Judge look like a human to you? I've never seen the man cry. I've never seen him excrete any sweat. You hit a home run, you're sweating. Aaron Judge.
I don't know.
I know you don't know because he's a robot.
Like you hit a single, you got to run hard.
True. Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's a trot. It's a trot. A trot is not that exerting.
Yeah, a home run trot. That's right. He does a home run trot. But even when he's fielding.
They're still professional athletes, They're
not professional athletes. They're robots of a robot race of some type. But the Yankees.
Imagine just how boring.
The Yankees?
No, just being a baseball player is like in game 110.
Well, unless you're
a right fielder, it's game 110.
Right. And
how can you get up for that? How can you get up for 162 games?
And your team is 55 and 55. It's not like you guys are
right. Yeah,
tearing it up.
Especially if it's.
But you still have a shot.
If hope is long gone, imagine that.
Right.
But.
It's. Yeah, but you have to hand it to the people who run the major league corporations because
we won today. That's great. That's less than 1% of our season.
Right. That's right. Less than 1% of our season. And I think I say bravo to you, people who used to go. You'd play 7 months of baseball. There'd be one team in the American League who'd get in. Right. One team in the National League who'd get in. Thank you.
Just the best record.
Thanks for playing our game.
Yes. I do have to say, I mean, baseball, for me, takes the biggest leap of all sports between regular season and playoffs in terms of watchability.
Right, you're there the first wild card game, or you're almost there.
Yeah, it's a whole different feel, and I think with the pitching clock now, they did a
good job.
A pretty darn watchable sport now.
Yeah, how about these idiots? And there's always these idiots who said, whether it was Frank Gifford or whoever it was, I'm not saying it was specifically Frank Gifford, I don't want replays. Remember how much, every single one of those,
purists,
what do you call them?
They're called.
Yeah, purists, but every time there's what they think is an advance, but it's not an advance. Some of these people have not watched a game since they increased the size of the bases. They're going, fuck it, bullshit. That's not for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Are you okay?
You seem like I...
You looked like the coyote, like after he ran off the cliff, but before he realized he was about to fall.
But okay, here's the guys I know for a fact have been assholes. Pete Michaels, that's not his name, Al Michaels. I'm sure Al Michaels like, oh, this is great. They're going to go to the replay booth now. They used to do this all the time, whether it was Howard Smosell or whatever. Oh, great, now the game's slow. I don't think they had it back then. But now the game's slowed down.
Howard Smosell, this is your Cracked Magazine approach to life now?
No, you see, what I'm doing is when I talk about people like that, I'm using like the Mad Magazine, this for Schluggener guy, that type of thing. I'm applying universal language. So,
like Gavin Newscomb, like that. Funny names like that.
Eileen, my wife and I would go places and we would call ourselves, we sign in as Eileen and Bend Over. And we thought it was so funny. And we'd sign up, and then they go, but you don't have any ID that says these names. And we go, it's hilarious. Come on, cut it out. I don't want to be disturbed. People, when they find out.
The Dovers are on a watch list.
Hey, you know what I do, Josh, when I go into a town and I want to avoid attention? You know how I check into the hotel, right?
As Ben Dover?
Under my own name. That's what I do.
Gotcha.
Who would think? Who would think of calling? These road jokes don't work so much anymore. Not that
you got to be on the road, first of all. That's the problem.
Yeah, I need to get on the road. I need
they don't work in your living room.
I think that's the main thing that you're saying is if I want to keep it in the living room, fine. But I need to venture. But I'm not ready yet. For example, if I wanted to go to, I'm not trying to brag, but if I wanted to go to the Comedy Attic in, there's no reason to brag that you could go to the Comedy Attic. All right,
I didn't feel any FOMO. I got to tell you,
it's a great club in
Indianapolis, I believe, isn't it?
No, it's not Indianapolis. It's where is Indiana University? It's in that town. Bloomington, not Bloomington, Minnesota. Bloomington,
Indiana. Yeah,
Indiana.
Yes,
right. And I have so much fun there.
I had great shows in Bloomington, Indiana, at a place called Bear's Place. It was one of those magic road places for me.
When was this?
In the late '80s, early '90s.
And now Bear's Place,
it was a Sobel gig.
Okay, because I thought Bear's Place would be a place that the Grateful Dead Owsley liked to stay at. Owsley, Stanley, his nickname was the Bear. So I thought maybe when he got tired of the psychedelics, he settled down. What is that face?
That face is, I don't understand why you're
talking or
why
being
you're thinking
or
that.
Living or continuing to try. It takes a certain, and I want to applaud you.
No, you don't. You don't.
I want to applaud you for suggesting that we go a little bit earlier so we don't break up the show.
Yeah. With
me waking up Susan and then going back to wake up Susan. I want to say that since we've been doing that, which is today, I felt a lot more comfortable.
I know your clock watching energy. It's not productive.
Good. And the other thing is, I really am over the hump. I'm over the not really, but I can almost be over the hump. Here's the thing. If I know we're getting here's the deal, see? If I know we have a 9 o'clock thing, I get up at 8 and I walk like a zombie through my various activities. I can never get up and go, yep, my father could do this. Yeah. Yep, I do, bang, bang, bong, boop, 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 boop. Now, he wouldn't make food, but he would be very happy.
Right.
But I've never gotten up in the morning, and as much as I love my coffee, I still want to go, like that and have it, there.
Yeah.
So all I do is I go, I'm going to be a zombie for an hour. And it seems to work. Whenever I get up, if I can get myself up, and it just takes the 1 hour, boom. But you get up not raring to go, do you? Or you do. Maybe you do.
I'm capable of it, but it's not I like a slush hour myself.
That's good, right? Yeah. Isn't it? It's like you purposely allow your mind to do mushy things, right? To not do anything except concentrate on, I need to have yogurt. Oh, what is this?
I mean, I go through my my New York Times puzzle regimen is what I do.
What are the big puzzles? Sudoku. I don't like Sudoku because I don't like numbers.
I don't do Sudoku.
Well, I know you didn't do that, but you do that. Guess it in 3, right?
Guess it in 3.
What's that thing where I give you 5? The word is schminky. I got
Wordle.
It in 2.
Wordle, yes,
right.
I do Wordle. I do the spelling bee. I do crossword, of course. I do like 5 puzzles.
A lot of people would do 1 puzzle, and that's it.
I do 5. I do 5, and it's.
You're similar to my dad. In the way my dad didn't do 5, but he was out there. I mean, he wasn't as a Bill Clinton level Scrabble.
The one thing I have let go of now is the New York Times will they'll put you on a streak, like you're on a 300-day streak for the crossword.
Right.
And I've broken it a couple times, and now it doesn't upset me anymore.
Oh, but they had you going with it. How could you break your streak? How could you let the fans
They don't
down?
guilt you afterwards, but,
I decided that maybe as a retro game, we bring back electronic football, but we bring it back like a Madden-type game. In other words, you can have commentary and...
See, you're mistaking electronic football, which was the handheld Mattel thing where the little dot, you'd move the dot across the little tiny screen, with electric football is what you're talking about.
What do I call it?
Electronic. There's no, it's just electric.
Are you trying to tell me that it wasn't electronically based?
It was electric football.
I had underneath, exactly what you're saying is true. It had little foam balls. Uh-huh. And at a time in my life when I wasn't feeling loved, or what I would do is I was focused on one thing.
He'd swallow them as if he'd do a faux suicide attempt with a little time.
No, I'd have a drink. First of all, I had initially, there used to be a comic named Bob Worley, who was a very funny comic, and he used to do a whole bit about how these toys that you have as a kid, they're horrible. So, it's Slinky. Who cares?
Like everybody in the 80s. Yeah, okay.
Well, no. I am not pitching that he said this was the greatest bit. He was a funny comic, though.
Yeah.
He was a very, very funny comic. But the thing is that I used to think that there was a time period where electric football was a great sport. I loved it because I would dream about it. I'm going to get up in the morning and play my electric football game. Uh-huh. And then I did understand that as I aged out of it, I kept attacking myself emotionally. Why don't you like to play it anymore? It's still good.
Really?
Right.
Yeah, you got that's deep shame planting. That went on.
And some things I associate with depression. Like if we were to get together and you said, let's play war with the cards. You know that one?
Sure.
It's the most boring thing in the world. I have a bigger card than you.
Yeah.
Oh, now you have a smaller card than you.
It's not like one notch away from blackjack, though.
It's true. I used to get big laughs when I first started comedy when I would just out of nowhere say, go fish. People would just, you know what I'm talking about, right?
But that was breaking the tension of the silence.
The thing is, and women complain, but the days when you had a game that said you're an old maid in the game and had pictures of old maid, those were the days.
Yes.
Women don't realize how good it was then before they could vote. They want to vote. My wife goes, oh my God, I'm so tired of voting. I said, of course. I could have seen this coming. That was a lot of 90s DJs, the regular guys, and when Rush Limbaugh got big. These horrible groups on like 97.1. We go, women, it's really like us. 1-800-500, why I should throw my girlfriend from a car. That was a lot of Lycus's stuff, was like how you should mistreat. Why you should throw your girl, and I don't think so.
It's Misogyny Monday here on Lycus.
Show me your breasts. How is that ever something that people go, I have to admit it's pretty funny. He wants the women's breasts to be shown. See, only I was obsessed with talk radio to remember him going, I'm the only show that's not hosted by a fella. No! And I think he did have some problems later on with women.
One can only imagine.
He's very mean on the radio. He's very mean and says, but one-on-one, he turns into a cupcake. The guy can't stop. He's like a oozy love bug. Love.
Oozy love bug.
Come on.
That sounds like something the GIs came back with.
Don't get me on. I served it. I had dined out on this before I was a professional comedian. I dined out on, I had that in the Navy.
Yeah.
That was before I did comedy.
Clearly.
I had that. I had that in the Navy. And, I know that you're making fun of me, but it doesn't dissuade me. I know, okay.
Good night, Irene.
But then there were games that eluded me, like concentration. Nobody really played. What is that game? Concentration. I can't concentrate. They should have called it not concentrating.
Really?
Stratego I liked for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
But then it got boring.
I preferred strategery.
Oh, my God. So, as an adult, like Susan would like it if I would want to play cards one-on-one. But she knows I'm not going to. I don't want to play cards one-on-one. No. I'll go to a poker room.
So you just don't like your wife, is what you're saying.
It sounds like I'm a highly unpleasant person who's coming up with different excuses.
You're sounding like a cranky old man in many ways.
But at least I'm not abnormal.
Before we get past childhood toys, I heard the great. I think it was Roy Cooper, governor of North Carolina, was talking about the storm stuff. And he goes, "Things are going well. There's always a kink in the Slinky." But there's
I heard him say that.
Yeah, I love
That's
that
not
phrase.
good.
No, I love that phrase.
You love that one. Well, no, I just thought maybe if your house was crushing down to you, I go, what is he talking about? It's like when they say triple digits and your grandmother is has died in the attic. My grandma's dead because it was 112 in there. Oh, I thought it was just triple digits. I didn't know it was something to worry about. I can never get this joke to work. The joke is based on, they always say triple digits like it's hipper, right? Like they say, we're going to get a little bit of the wet stuff. Hey, Mom.
I thought the first digit was 0.
I have listened to every version of the Grateful Dead. I know everything about the Grateful Dead, more than I knew about it when I took acid and went to these shows, which I knew nothing about them. But now I have, through the book, Fare Thee Well, which talks about the breaking up of the Grateful Dead. And it's just great. It's just unbelievable. I wish I could lead this to somewhere. But what I normally think is, I'm reading this book. Will I tell Josh about all the wonderful things? And I go, and then it's a book, and it's about rock and roll, and it's about how
the first thing I think is, you're not actually reading a book.
I'm listening to it. I actually do. When I say to people, how many books I've read, I go, I'm not really ready to listen to. But I could be a genius now. I could be a genius because I enjoy words.
Right, and you're such a good listener.
What? Ha, hoo, hee, ha, hoo, 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 walla, walla. That was a great song. Why aren't there more Walla Walla Bing Bang songs?
I performed that song in 6th grade.
How's it go?
Oh, no, you know what I did? It wasn't that. That I did, we did One-Eyed, One-Horn Flying Purple People Eater.
Oh, what is a terrible song, right? Or it's really good?
But it ended with the,
I wouldn't eat you because you're so tough.
Oh my God! Is this on stage?
This was on stage at the spring.
Is this when you
spring
did the
concert in sixth grade? Yes.
Did you do the Jerky Boys too? Hey,
no,
you got.
That's not me. That's not me, man.
The Jerky Boys is after us, I think. No, not after you. The Jerky Boys is right in your generation.
Jerky Boys was when I think I was already a comic by Jerky Boys time, but I don't like that style.
Hey, excuse me. Hello. I heard your wife has cancer. What? I heard that your wife has cancer. Why would you call me up and say that? Ha ha! We're the Jerky Boys. We're just kidding around. You jerk. That's the same bit as extreme crank anchors. With extreme crank anchors. Come on, there's somebody on the other line who could die if you don't get up the line now. Ha ha! It's extreme crank anchors. But my hand hurts. My hand hurts, sir. Someone has just died on the other line. Ha ha! It's extreme crank anchors. Would you sign a release and agree to have this conversation recreated by puppets? This material, when there was these shows on the air, and the show business was a competitive thing, and everybody went to Montreal. I don't know if you remember
Still a going concern, show business.
Still a going concern. Everybody went to Montreal, and they would say, "What's Andy going to joke about the upfronts this year?
What's on
material?
Kindler's list this year?"
You know, I can't. If you said to me, I don't even remember Montreal now. That's how fast it went out. I'm not saying it didn't last for a lifetime, and we will both be memorialized as the people who tore down show business.
I will not. I will not be part of that memorial.
Well, that's because you don't want to die. You're going to die with a whole bunch of different people.
I just for a few years I was Goebbels to your showbiz Hitler.
Ugh. Goebbels. You know, the thing is, Goebbels, when you compare Goebbels to Mike, what's his name? Mike, the guy who was the Attorney General, the horrible Attorney General under Trump, Mike.
Are you talking about the Secretary of State?
What was his name? Mike.
You're blanking. I'm blanking on everything now, just because you're just thinking there, Mike.
I know, but I had something to say. I was like, it was good. It was good. It was comparing how these clowns are now. These clowns are a whole different level than they were when I was younger. I mean, I could make them. Sure, I did a suck it to me. You know what is amazing is that you don't have this in your life. You don't have this part of your life that goes, oh boy, The Laughing was a great show when I was a kid. I should watch it again. You never had that. You never went through that the first time where you thought that was a great show.
It's true.
Right?
It's true.
Like to me, I
had the Laugh-In reboot with Robin Williams.
What was that called? The Laugh Button?
Laugh-In, it was called.
No.
Yeah.
Was that also with the great, who's that man? You will tell me right now who that man is. The man behind Laugh-In. George Slaughter. I am George Slaughter.
I thought you were doing Gary Owens.
It's so sad when I do voices. That was sad because if you had said Gary Owens, I would have thought that's not bad.
I told you I had a meeting with George Slaughter once.
Oh, I don't remember the details though. What did he say to you?
Oh, he just wanted to do basically a daily show.
Oh, and does he has this? He can't. He thinks he's charming like Bob Evans. I think he thinks he's like on a Bob, and then Bob Evans isn't even charming, but he thinks he's like, well, let me tell you about show business, Josh.
Yeah, he does have that. And he had one of the great picture walls I'd ever seen, really, in terms of him with famous people wall.
I did a show once with Ed McMahon, and it was just this really terrible game show type of thing, and I didn't like it at all. And
it was called Star Search.
But he says to me, "Well, Andy, what do you think? What do you think?" I said, "That's pretty good, Ed." I didn't want to say that I was disrespectful because I loved Ed McMahon.
Right, but you were sort of trained for 30 years to be disrespectful of Ed. Dismissive of Ed, you know.
Just from the Dom Herrera bit, which is really one of the best jokes of all time. You know that one, right?
No, I don't remember Dom Herrera's bits. I'm sorry.
He goes, I didn't know whether to say, when I met Ed McMahon, I didn't know whether to call him Mr. McMahon or Ed or Mr. Ed or Ed, you fat fuck sucking up to Johnny for the last 20 years. It was very funny in its time. It was like he was doing a Kindler. He was like a Kindler, early Kindler.
Sure. Or you were later Herrera.
I don't mind being a later era. He was one of the funny. He still is a funny people. Why? Because he still is funny now. I bet if you call him right now, he'll bing, bang, boom, bang, boom. I'm not putting down the older comics like you want me to.
No, not that you're not getting paid for it. You're not.
Oh, that's right. That used to be my my wheelhouse. Or it was my bread and butter.
Both.
Yeah, to the point that it was so much, didn't even make so much fill in the current thing that I thought you were pitching me a current Jim Belushi joke. That's how, by numbers, it got to be. According to Jim, sitcoms aren't very good 12 years after that show came out. You know what it's like? I can't be embarrassed about this because it happened. But I can't, I don't imagine. I go, what was I freaking out about now? You know, those years where I was crying.
Sure.
And yeah. And so when you've had therapy or when you've had anything, you do make the mistake of going, I was fucked up then and I'm perfect now. And that's the part that's not the best thing to do because it was delightful. It was delightful what I was doing back then.
Well, you don't have to end it with it's perfect now, but you can be like, look how far I've come.
You could do that. But why do you always, you would think that if I'm going, but Josh, I'm good enough. I'm handsome enough. And gosh darn it, I like myself. But you don't want me to feel that good about myself. That's what I'm thinking.
I do. I just don't want you to feel puffed up about yourself.
Oh, that's right. Well, I am puffed up about myself. That's the thing. I am puffed up about myself. You would think all the years of therapy and everything would cause me to be less self-involved. And I was talking to myself the other day about this. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ya, da, da, da. Go, 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 go. You think that would be funny to do after every joke, maybe?
Let's see. We'll find out.
Boom, 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 boom. I think it's grape season's coming. I'm just telling you. Grape season is
I've had some good
us.
grapes in the last few weeks, actually.
You did? Did you have any cotton candies?
I did have some cotton candies, which were good. Were very good. And then
Susan wants to know: is this the season now?
Straight
right?
up, big, crispy, just greens, greens. Yeah.
Greens. I like when they try to do it like wine. You know what I mean? These grapes and these, or they try to make it like it's an emerald. And they come up with something emerald delicious cuties.
Right.
No, purple monster cute. This is why I stopped doing comedy because I had the idea of what was funny, but I could never have the individual examples.
Right. You had the concept for a joke.
Not what is that? And what is that really called? And you should get this old call back. It's just a house number. I'm not saying this is the actual joke. I got that wrong too?
Well, no, I've heard it, but no, in my 30 some years of comedy writing, no one has ever used the phrase in a writing room.
Well, just the Jewish guy who told me I was wrong for making the Jews seem like we were scared about getting rounded up.
Yeah.
He's the one who goes, he's pitched me this. He goes, makes you suspicious about someone who wants to send you on some kind of a trip. He didn't like the way I was going, oh yeah, great, I know. It goes to Baltimore, Stuttgart, and we're the chosen people chosen to get the shit kicked out of us. He did not want me to portray the Jews in that way. And he said he wanted to have another way to come up with a joke. And it makes you feel suspicious about someone who's going to send you on some kind of a trip. That was his alternative line.
Right. Well, at least he was trying to pitch a fix. He wasn't just poking holes. He was
That's
trying
true.
to
He
pitch
said
a
it was that.
fix.
He goes, look. He said, look, this is just a house number. He says that to me. What does he think? I'm 28 or 29 or 30, and he's going, and he thinks I was on the old Bob Cummings show. I love Bob. Love that Bob. Was he trying to bring me in as a fellow? We're both writers, baby.
Yeah,
it's a house number, right? Yeah,
he's trying to respect you. Yeah,
respect me.
Yeah.
And I look back at that, and I go, I didn't like that he called me, and I wasn't happy about it.
Yeah, I bet.
But now, in retrospect, I'm not. I still think it was I always see it. I've said it a million times. I see it as a very positive.
So it literally was someone who was like, "Hey, I've been thinking about your joke I heard the other night."
Yes, it was like a somehow there was no internet back then. So how did it get to me? Somehow he called me at home or something like that.
We did have phones.
We did, but we didn't. We didn't use them. But maybe I was playing Igby's. I don't remember where it was, and so I don't remember Except I do remember arguing with the guy. So we did connect by phone. But how would you get hooked up with someone he wasn't a comic my age. He was like a much older writer type thing.
Yeah.
No, he was probably 20 years younger than I am now.
Probably.
But I love that, though, when he said house number. See, I think when I think back about my bitterness and anger, I think that I always was able to leaven it with a little lighthearted frivolity. I always made it look like I'm the bad guy.
No.
It's not them.
No, you did not.
No?
No.
Oh, I thought I did.
No, you made people seem like they were horrible, horrible people for not being as talented as you thought they
separated
should be.
the man from I always separated the man from the story about the man. Oh, did I tell you that Coldplay did rap at the end of his thing? He went bop, bing, bang, a chook, 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 a shang, 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 and a scoop, a doop, doop. How do you do rap as a white person? You're not Eminem. How does a white person do rap now without making it look like... It's not even rap. It's like shmappity-bee. Word boo, shmika-da-baka-da-da-boop. Aren't people going, hey, Coldplay, we're seeing through you. You're not a rap group all of a sudden because you decided to go, speak-a-ding-ding-ding-ding-doing. Didn't work, Coldplay. I have more anger towards Coldplay than they have material. You know what I mean? I have more anger about nothing. Because they had that, what's that one song I do like?
I don't know.
Yes, you said I sang it to you the other way. Oh, you could close me down or something. You know, it's just like Sugar Ray. Isn't that a band?
That was a band.
Right, so I like that one song. What was that big hit they had, Sugar?
I just want to fly. Put your arms around me, baby. Put your arms around me, baby. That one?
Yes. And they were on...
24 years old. My mother, God rest her soul.
Who's the group? They're the same people. Maroon 5. All these are the same people, right? Maroon 5. These other groups. Dave Matthews Band.
Maybe
these
you're
are
just super fucking old.
I never could get over thinking the Dave Matthews Band is terrible and enjoying any Dave Matthews songs. And the woman who used to book the Improv up in I don't know if she still does in San Francisco, she loved Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
I couldn't everything else, she liked Fun Boy 3, she liked Bananarama, but we split on Dave Matthews. Now, you tell me now, argue for Dave Matthews. Go, no, Andy, actually, now give me the argument. The same thing you tried to get me to like the Foo Fighters.
Millions of people have liked them for over 30 years now.
So that's true of Hitler. I gotta update my material.
He was good for 10. He was good for 10 years.
I mean, don't you think?
I like Coldplay more than you, but not that much.
Well,
I can get that song "Fix You" in my head for a good week at a time, though.
Right, and I'm trying to think of other examples of that. Maybe that's "Fix You." That's the one I was like. He goes, "You trying to fix? Don't try to fix me.
No.
Don't try to fix me."
No, stop.
What my new thing is sing as poorly as possible, and then Josh will say, "Still charming." You're not a bad person. You're not a bad person because of your voice. I'm an annoying person.
No, you're not a bad person because of your voice.
What? The way you said that made me feel worse.
Oh.
All right. What do you got? What do you got before we get to these incredible questions?
What do I got?
Yeah.
I got nothing. There's always a kink in the Slinky. It's time for questions. What do you want to know? We love your questions so much. It's half our show. Half our show. Not a lot of questions today.
Because I didn't retweet it. That's probably why.
Could be.
Damn it.
Balls were dropped.
Yeah.
BD West says, gents, I've teased Stephen Elton Yates in the past, but only out of love. I agree with Andy that he is the cornerstone of the podcast and would really enjoy hearing the Joe Andrus Bluegrass Ode to Stephen again. All right. Well, here you go.
If he's tweeting at you, you're podcasting right. His questions and quips are a test show's delight. Suffice it to say he's a top-tier fan, Stephen Elton Yates.
Cool. You see that? And that's the type of thing that makes people want to come back to the show.
Exactly. Tweet Bahara says,
Tweet.
Gangbusters. Do you remember we talked about this coming in like gangbusters?
No, I don't. Is it on the show?
We talked about it last week, yeah.
Okay.
So
last week and I forgot? Okay.
Imagine. Tweet Bahara says, Gangbusters was a radio show in the 40s that came on the air with a siren and machine gun sounds. So came on like gangbusters comes from that. Love from Tweet Blowhardy. Nice of you to say, Tweet Bahara. That's quality, well-presented nugget. Thank you.
Yes. From the man who brought us Rich Brotherton being a real person.
Yes.
This is another great thing.
And he's back to say, either of you guys ever seen a ghost or maybe a UFO?
Neither. I've seen neither.
I've never seen anything that I walked away thinking, I just saw a ghost. Like I've told you about the Custer battlefield feeling. I have.
When you were there and you felt like you.
Yeah, like I felt a definite other plane like presence, I would say.
I felt that too when I went to Washington the first time.
But the only thing that makes it creepy is I didn't know I was going through Little Bighorn when I had the
that's
feeling.
right. That's right. That makes it otherworldly.
Yeah. The sign came after the feeling.
Right. So I believe in all these things to some degree.
And I told you I saw a CBS Sunday Morning story about it, and there was like a Native American guy going, "The spirits are very close to the surface here."
I like that guy. And so he's world weary. That guy's world weary.
Yes. Stephen Elton Yates, the man himself, says, "Hey Andy, did you know that Howard Cosell had a show called Saturday Night Live in 1975? The premiere episode featured celebrity guests Frank Sinatra, Shirley Bassey, Paul Anka, Siegfried and Roy, and Yogi Berra. How did the opening monologue sound?"
This is something that I only know about. I've never seen the show, but this is the show I only know about because if you love Saturday Night Live, you learn immediately that it's not that they had to.
I thought it was called Saturday Night for the first 2 years.
Right. Yeah, for the first 2 years. So I think the thing about Stephen is he brings a certain maturity to the show, and a certain I think he classes the whole place up.
Can't argue.
Whatever happened? I haven't heard from our lady. What's the lady? I haven't heard from her in a long time. She's Native American, maybe, or she has a Native American name, or she's married.
I think you're thinking of.
Michelle Wise Carver.
Yes! Where is Michelle Wisecarver?
I don't know.
You know what? Though, here's the thing. I bring that up. She probably hasn't listened to the show anymore. Why should I make someone feel bad? I couldn't listen to the show. This long, and you're editing it.
I know. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It is hard, but wait till you take it off.
Scrumptious Mike says, "Hey, Mr. Josh," which is what my wife's ex-husband calls me, by the way, Mr. Josh.
What? Really? Is it like mean?
No, it's just
okay.
It's a little pet name. I think in some way it's respectful, I guess. Sometimes I can hear you vape on the pod because your voice gets all fluffy. I've tried to get addicted to the vape, but it just makes me feel like I'm going to throw up and pass out. Do you experience this? And if so, what's the appeal? Of course I don't experience that.
Well, is he a smoker though?
I have no
That
idea.
I have. You can only speak to smokers about this.
But the lightheaded nausea thing, that's
We don't have that.
That's like taking dads in the garage, smoking dad cigs in the garage level. But no, I do not. Of course, I don't get anything deeply negative from it other than personal shame.
Is it as good as now? You have to go. You know what? It's just as good as cigarettes.
It is to me now. Yeah.
That's good.
I don't crave cigarettes now. I crave this.
Wow, that's great. I think it's great.
And I have this every once in a while, like when I see Gruber or something, I'll have a regular cigarette with him or something.
Is that true?
Yeah, because
wow.
I mean, I'm still addicted to nicotine. It's not like
Does Allison
it's not
know?
like it's she doesn't give a shit.
So you're not like a jonesing. You're not a jonesing guy.
No,
I'm jonesing.
I have maybe a regular cigarette or two a year now, and
does it taste great?
It tastes like something I remember.
Right.
You know, it's not like, how did I ever like this? It's not that. But it's not like, this is so much better than the real thing. It's not that anymore at all. Like, this is what I'm addicted to now, is this fucking thing.
Yes.
So.
And they just came out with studies that says it may actually lengthen your life. Vaping. Lengthen.
Wow.
Because a lot of times people don't breathe heavily, and this gets you the breathing, and look it up.
Thank you for that. John Dunbar says on the Pretend Problems podcast, Chad Daniels said Josh made Pete Lee look crazier about some stuff than he was when editing I Need You to Kill. He added it was also kind of funny. What does Josh have to say about the accusation?
The accusation that what?
That I made Pete Lee look crazier.
Well, he was a little nutty. I don't think you did. You're delightful. He's delightfully nutty, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, I hope I know that Pete promotes the movie when he as his credit, so I know he's not upset
Everybody
about it.
in that movie came out lovable.
But
characters.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, yes, I played because those were funny moments to me.
Right. Yes.
And there was some storytelling to be done about the dynamic.
It was great. It was great. I remember it right now. How often do you remember?
But I probably could have put some more cool moments of Pete in, or something to balance it out. But I don't think I made him look bad.
Well, he's not a cool. Also,
But I was also trying to set up Segura fucking with them in the last show, where he did their opening lines, and and Pete getting so upset.
Did he really get upset?
He got so upset. He got really mad. It was really.
Did he ever get over it?
Of course, but it was really, really funny that night.
Oh, that's funny stuff. Funny stuff. We have fun here.
But I'll have to listen to that. I'd like to hear what Chad thinks about the whole thing too. So
yeah.
Johnny Whoops says I was out with my dog thinking of a funny question and just saw a squirrel run into the street and get crushed by a passing car. Fellas, I'm shook. I would be too. I would be too. That's a day ruiner right there.
It never gets better. Like if I'm walking down the street, all of a sudden, I've had this happen so many times. Like a dead squirrel. It looks like a dead squirrel that's been stuffed. You know what I mean? It's like you're just like, Mah! It never looks good. Death never looks good.
No, but seeing the actual death is harder than seeing the corpse.
True. That's true. No. I'm not comparing my trauma.
Please don't. Please.
I'm sorry.
Please. Johnny Whoops is hurting.
Maybe the animal was asking for it in another life. Okay.
Stephen Chaotic Neutral says, hey guys, when Milton threatened to totally level my hometown, I couldn't convince my family to evacuate. Then nothing happened. I'm glad they're fine, but next Thanksgiving I know I'm going to have to defend my belief that climate change is real, but angels aren't.
So they went nowhere. They just went nowhere.
Well, good for you for trying. I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad I'm sorry for everybody in Florida dealing with this double shitstorm, but
Yeah.
I'm glad.
I'm
too. Glad it wasn't as bad as they had thought, but it still seems pretty fucking awful. A lot of.
And I can definitely understand people go. Well, first of all, you move to Florida, you know that you're not going to go. Let's move someplace where we know that the actual buildings aren't safe. Let's go to Florida.
All right,
because that's going to.
He said from Los Angeles.
That's right. We used to joke about Los Angeles being shoddy. No more. We're the retrofit king.
Right.
Or something.
Sous vide. My partner wants me to stop smoking pot. Last night she asked if I had smoked in the last few days because she could tell the difference. Truth was, I had. So it seems she will have to find something else to blame all our problems on. Narcissist, huh?
Well, it's a thing. You cannot in life get your wife to like your pot smoking more. She's like, my wife isn't, and my wife does eat pot every once in a while. She can't smoke because she made a pact with God that she'd never smoke again. And so, but it's always going to be an issue because it is an avoidance thing. I do use it to avoid sometimes.
Yeah. So
when someone's like, you just have to. You're not. If my wife goes, "You're not even here." Well, she's right. I'm in some other land.
Yeah.
But I told her, "Look, motherfucker, I smoke when I fucking want to smoke." Right? That's what I said to her.
Do you want to go wake her up so you don't get in trouble?
No, but I am starting to look. 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes, or I'm going to get in big trouble, buddy boy.
Zeke Fossey says, hey, ask Andy to unblock me so I can watch his show with Megan. Do it for Jerry Arrigo.
Jerry Arrigo.
Arrigo, sorry.
Zeke Fossey, okay. And where
that's on Instagram. We're talking.
Okay, I'll. And who's the other guy? Delicious Mick.
Yeah.
I'll do it as soon as I go to Instagram again.
Eastside 76 says, I see George Harrison and Eric Clapton as very similar. They were even Eskimo bros. Would George have turned to a crazy anti-vaxxer or remain more in the peace and love camp despite his obvious hatred of paying taxes? Thank you kindly.
Well, he hated paying taxes because the taxes were 100%. He had a good reason. It was a little out of control there in England at that time. It wasn't like he was doing it as a right-wing guy. He was just going, what the fuck is going on, Mr. Heath?
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Heath, Mr. Wilson.
I don't, I mean, George wasn't, as time has gone on, and you see more and more of everything that was said and everything that was about being the Beatles now has been sort of unfurled.
Yes.
You go, yeah, I mean, they all had their things. Like George was super passive aggressive and he was pretty negative about the experience for a long time,
Right. You're right.
But Clapton's a fucking asshole.
But the Clapton just sounds like a bad guy.
Yeah.
Or maybe.
I mean, and I think George was kind of an asshole too, but I think Clapton is hateful.
Yeah. That's true. I think all the people who came from the rock era who were rock stars, were capable of being assholes.
Yeah. Perush says, Bob Dylan just found out Newhart died. Who else did he find out about? Does he have any other gumbo recommendations?
What the fuck is happening?
This is in reference to his Twitter account.
What happened in his Twitter account?
It's just, it's just randomness. Like one day I went, ooh, I just found out Bob Newhart died. He was funny. Then I was like, we ate dinner at a place on the corner of in New Orleans. You should try it,
How does it even get to Twitter, do you think?
Huh?
How does it even get to Twitter? Someone does it? Or
No, well, maybe he has an assistant.
Maybe he does it.
Maybe he does it, AFQ says, I have been listening to your show from the beginning for a couple of months. I am only on episode 66, but it is fascinating as a time capsule and, of course, hilarious.
Oh, wow. I like that.
Do you guys still do Dennis Miller impressions? Miller on the Sixes always gets me rolling. Anyway, I look forward to hearing the answer when I get to hear it, probably a year or two from now.
Look, Cha-Cha. We don't do, Dennis Miller is built into our DNA at this point. Choo-choo.
But we don't do Miller on the Sixes as much as we used to. There's sort of a traffic snow going there. It's kind of a Gordian knot of traffic.
Why did I feel the need to help?
I don't know, but I appreciated it. Tommy Barcanero says, I look forward to watching the new TLC show, The 500-Pound Bartender. Set it at Denny's. Thanks as always for the laughs, guys.
Is that not a show, right?
No, it's a reference to your story about the placement people at the bartender. What if you're 500 pounds?
Oh, God. How do people remember shows? This is our show, right? We talked about it on our show?
Yes. Bryce Colton says, Andy, a question. If Howard Cosell was to meet the Mets, might he even stand upright and greet the Mets? Good luck to you, boys of summer. Good luck to your boys of summer, he says.
He would say, bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Bring Tito Fuentes and Roberto. They'll be sewn from Peru. Never gets old or good.
By the way, isn't Roberto Dobison a dictator?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Okay.
That's what is either funny or unfunny about the joke.
Gotcha.
Tito Fuentes was a musician.
Yes, that I got. That's actually Tito Puente, but
Puente. So I get his name wrong. It's even better.
Full Dork says, if Adam Sandler contacted you to be a guest on the podcast, would you have him on? Aaron Rodgers? A third guest?
Nobody. They're not. I don't think these, what's it called when it's never going to happen?
Hypotheticals?
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
No, but I would say yes to you.
Yes, come on the show. Yes.
I think I could put this thing to bed with you and Sandler.
That'd be great. Go ahead. I encourage you.
Nice firm handshake says.
No, you can't put it to bed. He thinks I'm a piece of shit who's on the bottom of his shoe. Why would he want to do anything with me?
Because he might, I could get him to reconsider that aspect.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. Let me know when it gets together.
All right. Nice firm handshake says, Josh piqued my interest with his description of Christopher Moore's writing, and I see he's often compared to Tom Robbins. Even Cowgirls Get the Blues is perhaps my fave book to date. You or other spirals may also enjoy.
Beautiful.
I kind of like Tom Robbins. I actually like Christopher Moore more than Tom Robbins.
I don't know either one of them, although I've heard of them.
Yeah. Tom Robbins gets a little too
Did he write Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead?
No. That was
another guy who's big in the theater.
Thank you. Thank you. Good save.
Tony, that's not Kushner, right?
No, it's not. I'll get it somewhere later in the day. It'll come to me.
Okay, call me. Please call me.
I promise. That's all we got. You got to wake up your wife.
I have to go wake up my wife, and I'm going to hang up on the phone because I do it. I'm going to do it.
BuyMeACoffee.com/spiral. Oh God, please help.
Hey, Coldplay, we're seeing through you.